Okay, I'm back and I'm with Shanda Trofe, my incredible publisher. And girl, I cannot thank you enough for all of your support. I mean, obviously the last couple years, but especially, oh, the last, 8, 12 weeks that we had to get this out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy working with me because I was at half capacity.
No, you are an absolute rock star, let me tell you. The fact that you went through everything that you were going through with your surgery when we were proofing the book and weeks out from publishing, I I would have encouraged you, to maybe put back shelf the launch for a little while, but you were persistent and you pulled through. And wow, you were a rock star. I mean, anybody who's ever published a book, and especially anybody who's ever published a book with me, knows that once the book's laid out for print, it gets very tedious and
Yes.
time consuming because I ask you to read through the book out loud at least 3 times before we
Yeah.
go to print.
And you did.
And you would do it. I'd give it to you on a Friday and you'd have your notes back to me on Monday. And I was just thinking, how is she doing this? You were amazing.
Thank you. I'm telling you, it's because of the God, the universe. It was once I'd get it back to you on Monday, I'm like, how did I do that? Because my body was hurting. Like I was hurting and I was aching and I didn't have, I just didn't really have the energy to do too much, but I knew like I wanted it to be done today. Like that was important to me.
Yeah.
So, but you were gentle, and you held my hand, and I appreciate that. One thing I just want to commend you on because I need to give it up to you for the cover. Like I've been getting so many, so much feedback on the cover, and I just want everyone to know like this is all Shanda. Like I, I couldn't have imagined like she was the one that came back with the colors, the back, the every like
We
you
couldn't have done it without those beautiful photos of yours,
Thank
though.
you. And thank you to put Hannah Lorish Photography because she's amazing out in Phoenix. I could definitely want to give her a shout out. But girl, you're like, do you want to go a second round? I'm like, no, Shanda, what the hell? Like, this is like, first of all, I don't have the energy to go a second round. Um, but you nailed it, and I appreciate it. And I'm a recovering perfectionist,
Yeah.
and so anything I do, I feel like, I still have that perfectionism. I don't, it's like, yes, I still have that perfectionism, although I'm recovering, but
Yeah.
you knocked it out of the water. Like I didn't have to send it back to you for anything. Like you're like, is it okay? I'm like, it's great. Do you want this something else? I'm like, no, no.
Well, I feel like you made our job easy because you submitted beautiful photos from your photo shoot. But
Thank you.
yeah, I just knew, everything from the interior of the book to the cover of the book had to match your personality. It had to be vibrant and bold
Thank
and
you.
the colors just pop. So yeah, it's
Thank
one of
you.
my favorite covers.
Thank you. No, and you definitely and that was one thing that I was, wanted to make sure to capture my personality because I know a lot of times things get watered down, and I know sometimes my language can be a little bit offsetting, or I say it the fuck a lot,
That's okay.
but but I think it captured the different facets of who I am, and I appreciate that, and that's important to me. It's like, of course, we have a right to our privacy, but I also authenticity is like important to me. Like I want to show up. Like what you see is what you get, and you definitely you nailed it with this. So thank you.
Well, from everything from the subtitle to the editing on the interior, I wanted to make sure that you had your voice and your personality in there. And that's one of the things I think I love most about reading your book. I mean, I love the message. There are so many messages in there that are such a blessing to women and
Thank you.
such powerful um, processes and lessons in there. But one of the things that I makes it such an enjoyable read is it's like you're writing in your own voice the way you talk to your best girlfriend. And it makes it a fun, enjoyable read while you're still, hearing your stories and learning your lessons and then getting tools that we as women can incorporate in our life. So I just look at it as your book is like the Bible for being a badass woman.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate that because as I went through it 3 times, and then I'm like, freak, I forgot to put this and I forgot to put that. There's so much that I forgot to put in it. But then I remember you said, like, Grace, you cannot put everything in one book. Like,
Yeah,
that's just not possible. And I wanted it to be easy and manageable and easy to read. Um,
it's
but
perfect.
thank
13
you.
chapters, 13 different topics, and then the epilogue. I think it's perfect, just as you
So
did.
like I've mentioned, like I never, like in a million years, like I had a lot of things on my bucket list. Being a writer definitely wasn't one of them. Being an influencer definitely wasn't one of them. And here I am. I know there are a lot of people who've come up to me and said, Grace, I really want to write a book. And I tell them, like, you can do this.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of share a little bit, like about the process and how you work with author, with, like, anyone can do it. Really, everyone has a story.
Well, I'll tell you, I really loved, and I remember sharing this with you. I loved that you allowed yourself grace and gave yourself time with it because you decided, okay, we'll meet once a month and I'll work on one topic, one chapter a month. And then it was so fun to witness because whatever your topic or chapter was that you were working on, things started to show up in your life
Yes.
that could bring you experiences and wisdom for the book. And I watched you, I think you contacted me before even the pandemic. Like we started our process before 2020. And I watched you over the writing of the book transform and grow. And you are writing about all these processes and it's taking you on this journey of self-discovery. And that's something I always tell authors, whether they're my clients or my book writing students from my programs. I always say a book will take the author on a journey of self-discovery and healing and growth and transformation. If you allow it, you don't have to rush the process. So you really gave yourself that time and you worked on it one lesson at a time, and then you'd move to the next chapter. And I think because you did it like that, you didn't put a lot of pressure on yourself. It never felt heavy. It was like you innately knew, you knew somewhere within you that this was going to happen when you set out to write the book. Like you knew this was this was the journey you were going to go on. And I remember at one point you said, there's a certain chapter that I'm going to keep to the end because I think that's one of the things that I'll be walking through toward the end. So you're very intuitive. But I really think that a lot of authors could learn a lot from your process, and that's just take your time with it. It doesn't have to be written in 90 days. It can be written one chapter at a time over a few years.
Thank you. And I'm getting emotional because you told me don't rush it because there's going to be things that come up that need to be in the book.
Yeah.
And there were chapters that I definitely wouldn't have been able to write, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And I remember one of my uncles, he called me a few years ago. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you putting yourself out there? And then we talked for a minute and then he said, I understand, it's for you. And so when we go on this journey of writing, of showing up, yes, it is to influence and to inspire, but like you said, it's for our own healing journey. And as I wrote this book, it's like I experienced my own healing. And for that I'm thankful and grateful for. So
And
thank you.
then on top of it, and then at the end, you've already submitted the book, and then at the very end, you decide to write the epilogue, which brings everything full circle.
Yes, it brings everything full circle. And I want, read the book, please. I didn't, I just felt that I wouldn't have been true to myself or my community had I not included the epilogue.
Yeah, it
You know,
really, it was that missing piece when I didn't even think anything was missing. And then when I read it, I was like, wow, this book wouldn't have been complete without this epilogue,
yeah.
especially after everything you just walked through.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and that wasn't easy because, I grew up in an environment where, like, you don't share shit, like
Yeah.
everything's perfect, like put on, like there's a chapter in the book where I want to go to the store. My mom's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to the store. She's like, put your lipstick and high heels on. I'm like, I'm going to the fucking grocery store. She's like, I don't care. You don't know who you're going to run into. So it was always about image and the mask and the veil. And and it hasn't been easy for me to share, but I think it's necessary. And it's in our, I'm learning that it's in our vulnerability Oh God, it's in our vulnerability that we really can live that fabulous life.
Yeah. Yeah. And that by you sharing and being vulnerable is going to really, really hit the reader. It's going to connect that reader to the message. And it's so important that writers do that. And you did it very well.
Thank you. And that's what my intention is to connect. I love connecting. That fuels me. That motivates me. And I'm so grateful to be here and connecting. I'm going to say hi. We have a lot of people here with us, Shanda. So this is exciting. Karen Copperwa is with us. Karen, it's so good to see you. And Mikhail Guthlin. Oh my God, I miss you, sister. Thank you so much. Oh, you're already reading it. Thank you so much. Actually, we have to share our story one day too. We have a beautiful story to share of our interaction and experience together. Lisa, I hope you had an incredible honeymoon. I love you too. Mimi, I always appreciate you. And yeah, it's just exciting, very exciting. So, Shanda, what can you kind of leave us with? Because I know there are so many people that, like, maybe a last nugget, like if they want to write a book, what could be their first step?
Well, the first step is knowing that you don't have to be a trained writer to write a book. You don't have to have any idea how to write a book to write a book. You just have to have a desire to share your message. And if you have an idea, if you've had a thought that you want to share, write a book for a while, I'm a firm believer that that is placed inside of us from somewhere else. And it's up to
Mhm.
us to answer that calling to write. And when you do, it's going to take you on this beautiful, healing, cathartic journey of self discovery and transformation. And it's going to change your life. And I can't wait to see what happens for Grace. So, Grace, right now, by the way, congratulations. You're already #1 bestseller. And I love the categories you're #1 in: personal transformation, personal success, and spiritual healing.
Oh, I love it. I'm getting emotional. I was shocked, like when you sent me that message earlier this morning. I was like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like again, and one thing I want to share with everyone, and I'm getting emotional is, and I've asked this question to other people in my life who have really created amazing. I'm blessed to be surrounded by incredible people. I asked them, did you ever imagine your life to be as incredible as it is? And they said no. And so I feel like the universe, we can't even imagine, like we have, that's why it says release the how. We don't need to know the how because the universe has such a better plan in store for us.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's amazing. So relinquish the how, and the universe has a much better plan for us than we can ever imagine. So just surrender and relinquish that control, which I know is not easy. I've been trying to be in control all week, and I've had to tell myself, like, surrender. There's just some things you got to let go of, and they'll work themselves out.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you. I know I have no idea what's ahead, but I know that you're still definitely going to be there to hold my hand as we walk this
Absolutely.
journey together.
This is just the start. Once you put your book out in the world, that's when all the magic happens. So,
Thank you, and I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm so excited for, like, my community and my, like, it's this is not my win, like, this is our win. This is our I'm so
yeah.
excited to share it with everybody, so, and we'll take pictures and share them with you for tomorrow for the launch party.
Yeah. And just take it all in. This is your day, and all those comments you get, and read your Amazon reviews, because your book is amazing and it's going to do wonderful things for women. And you should be really proud of yourself. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, I appreciate you so much, and you're stuck with me all day today till midnight, Shanta. I love you, and if anyone is interested to get a hold of Shanda, just let me know. I will definitely connect you with her. She's an incredible publisher. She's taken, thousands of books to #1 bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers. So she is the lady of the hour. If you're interested, hit me up, and you can also reach her at shandatrofe.com. I love you, Shanda, and
Love
we'll
you.
definitely stay connected through the rest of the afternoon.
Thanks for
I
having
will
me.
absolutely. I'm gonna hang on with me for just a second,
Sure.
Shanda. I'm gonna hop off, and then at 1 o'clock we have Kelly Green joining us from KG Fitness Studio, and she'll share a little bit more of the journey over the last few weeks. Thank you, Paulette, for being here. Lisa Vitagliano Nelson, Crystal, Muna, Kelly, Scarlett, Rachel. I love you all, and thank you so much. I'll be back in a few minutes. Bye.